Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. This is Previous Atlas 256, where we make sense of our planet. So today we are going to continue with our discussion about development. And last time we ended by looking at what could be done to attain sustainable development in Uganda and Africa at large. So today we are going to look at Uganda's projected level of economic development in the next 20 years. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us. And if you need a detailed copy of these notes, please feel free to call us. So Uganda's analysts say they see Uganda transitioning from a predominantly low-income agrarian economy to a lower middle or possibly upper middle income economy. This is because the government has come up with plans or with programs like Vision 2040. We've come up with national development plans. I think right now we are on the 4th. And under Vision 2040, what some of the major aims are doubling our GDP every after 5 years by increasing exports and savings, then also increasing manufacturing and increasing manufacturing from medium to high value products share of exports. And this is to be achieved through continuous reinvestment in the manufacturing sector. And if this could be achieved by 2045, because I've made this video in 2025, our economy could several times be larger in real terms, and we could have a stronger agro industry that is in textiles and light manufacturing. We could also have renewable energy sector will be blooming, and digital services will be driving growth. Then we shall have an economy that is less dependent on raw commodity exports alone, but with local value addition becoming normal, because these days here in Uganda as of now, you're having a coffee processing factories out of the norm. You are an outlier. But if programs under the Vision 2040 and the 4th National Development Plan are well implemented, we could have low commodity exports being outnumbered by export of value added products. For example, if it is coffee, we no longer export coffee beans, but you could export maybe processed coffee chocolates. And this has been tried out in countries like Vietnam and Bangladesh that were also agriculture economies, but today have become manufacturing hubs, not overnight, but over continuous and sustained reform cycles and investment drives. Then the second projection shows that Uganda's current data, especially using HDI, is improving, and they are moving from the low HDI to the medium status, because people's income per capita is rising, life expectancy is rising, and poverty rates are declining. And if these continue with stronger investments in education, health, and job creation, the number of children that will complete primary and secondary education will improve, and therefore we shall tend to have a very large youth entering skilled job era, and more service sectors like health, education, and ICT shall also strengthen. Then we shall have a reduced disease burden and increased productivity of labor, because you can't have labor that is unskilled and you expect productivity. You can't have labor that is sick and you expect productivity. And this pace of human development parallels or is the same in countries like Thailand and Ghana that improve the basic social indicators, seeing a wider economic growth. Then Uganda's population is young and set to keep growing for decades. That is what projections show. By 2040, the rapid population growth, as we said, is a double-edged sword. It is good and it is bad, but we can embrace the good, because we shall have more labor force, we shall have a large tax base. However, we shall also have a higher pressure or demand for jobs, schools, and housing. However, recent trends are showing a decline in fertility amongst the people, which could ease this pressure over time. And if this continues like this, education and family planning, with increase in education and family planning, the age structure could yield a true demographic bonus with more working age adults than children. And if job creation lags, if the job creation is not catered for, youth unemployment may worsen, especially in urban centers. So, Uganda's development in 2045 could pivot or could rotate on how it will create productive jobs fast enough to meet with its growing population. Next, projections show that crude oil X is expected to start soon and may act as a growth catalyst in the late 2020s and beyond. However, resource wealth alone rarely guarantees broad development. We need to work on things like governance, we need to work on things like saving, we need to work on things like reinvestment so that oil can be a blessing rather than a curse. And that is how countries like Norway have managed to utilize their oil for sustainable development. If well handled, by 2045, oil could boost government revenue, oil could boost industrial investment, but that alone won't ensure broad human development unless the revenue management is transparent and productive, that it is not stolen and utilized by the few. Then Uganda's next analysts say Uganda's relation with lenders like the World Bank might affect its development trajectory. Recently, I think it was some 3 years back, Uganda was suspended from World Bank due to controversial domestic policies. But however, after some certain talks, funding has resumed, and the funding targets infrastructure, education, and social protection. Why is this important? Because a favorable financing terms can lower the cost of major projects. Then policy alignment with international pattern often unlocks technological and market access. However, if Uganda could continue strengthening its institutions with transparency and accountability, that would attract more investment and that would achieve more sustainable development. So the ball is in our hands. Where do you want to see this nation in the next 20 years? Do you want to move towards positive change or do you want to move towards negative development? So those are some of the projections of Uganda's level of economic development in 20 years and what could be done or what has failed to be done with some examples. Till next time.